The headlines scream one word: replacement. Every day, another article, another expert, another viral thread assures you that the AI revolution is coming for your job. They tell you to learn Python, to master Midjourney, to prompt better. They preach adaptation, but they miss the fundamental, terrifying truth. AI will not replace you. A person using AI will. This is not a story about tools. It's a story about human value. The future of work is not about competing with the machine. It's about commanding it. And to do that, you must possess skills the machine can never replicate. You are not asking if you should adapt. You are asking how to become irreplaceable. This deep dive is your definitive answer. Over the next hour, we will move beyond the superficial hype and reveal the 5 core human abilities, the 5 irreplaceable skills that guarantee your relevance, your leadership, and your success, regardless of the technological tide. We are talking about skills that don't just optimize the known, but imagine the unknown. Skills that navigate human complexity, not just data models. Skills rooted in consciousness, wisdom, and morality, the very foundations AI is structurally incapable of mastering. By the end of this journey, you will know exactly where to invest your most valuable asset, your time. This is the roadmap to becoming the human in the loop, not the human out of it. The challenge is not imitation, it is amplification. AI is a sophisticated co-pilot, but a co-pilot, no matter how fast or powerful, requires a human pilot to determine the destination, define the ethics, and make the ultimate sacrifice. In a world increasingly mediated by screens and algorithms, the highest value commodity is genuine human connection. AI's structural limitation. AI systems can recognize emotional cues, a frown in a video, a change in voice pitch, the sentiment analysis of text. But recognition is not understanding. AI lacks qualia, the subjective experience of feeling and emotion. It doesn't know what it's like to be angry, betrayed, or joyful. It only knows the statistical probability of a text string or a facial expression being associated with those states. This profound gap means AI can never perform the function of the human bridge. The irreplaceable application. Navigating high-stakes interpersonal dynamics. Consider the following scenarios where only empathy delivers value. The stressful negotiation. 2 companies are at an impasse over intellectual property. The LLM can write a flawless contract, but it cannot read the silent tension in the room, sense the hidden insecurity of the opposing counsel, or strategically deploy a moment of vulnerability to break the deadlock. A human negotiator uses empathy to understand the opposing party's non-monetary needs, e.g., saving face, job security, and crafts a deal that satisfies both logic and ego. The internal conflict resolution. A team member is consistently underperforming, but the data suggests they have the talent. An AI manager would trigger a performance improvement plan, or PIP. An empathetic human leader investigates the personal context, a family illness, burnout, or a conflict with a specific peer. The human can triage the person, not just the output. This leads to retention and loyalty, not just metrics. Customer loyalty. When a customer is irate, they don't want an automated "I understand your frustration" template. They want to feel heard. They want a human being to validate their negative experience and advocate for a unique solution outside the script. This creates brand transcendence, a value that cannot be quantified by a customer service KPI. The 3 pillars of AI-proof empathy: deep listening, hearing the unsaid, recognizing the tone and body language that contradicts the spoken word, strategic vulnerability, knowing when and how to share a piece of personal context to build rapport and trust, cultural fluency, navigating the subtle, unwritten rules of different professional and national cultures, a tapestry of context too complex for a generalized model.
AI is obsessed with optimization. It loves to find the shortest path, the highest efficiency, the most profitable segment within the existing market landscape. It is excellent at interpolation, filling in the gaps between known data points. But true wealth and civilization shifts happen in the realm of extrapolation, imagining the possibilities outside the current data set. This is the domain of strategic imagination. The machine can analyze data on every existing car, but it will never invent the concept of the smartphone. AI's structural limitation: data dependency. AI is fundamentally chained to its training data. Its output is always a derivative, a super sophisticated remix of the past. It cannot generate a genuine, category-breaking concept that has no historical precedent. It cannot look at the current industry and say, the entire premise is wrong. We need to create X. The irreplaceable application. Designing the non-obvious. Strategic imagination is about the white space, the area of the market that currently contains zero data, because it doesn't exist yet. Disruption. Think of the company that decides to move from a product-selling business model to a subscription-based service, SaaS, despite data suggesting consumers prefer ownership. This shift requires not just a logical leap, but an imaginative projection of a future consumer mindset. The unthinkable product. When Apple launched the iPhone, no data model would have predicted the need to merge an MP3 player, a phone, and an internet device into one, removing the physical keyboard entirely. Market research would have screamed, consumers want tactile buttons. Steve Jobs' genius was not analysis, but imaginative conviction. He projected a reality and built it. Wargaming the future. Strategic leaders use imagination to create scenarios that have a 1% chance of happening, but a 100% chance of catastrophe, a black swan event. AI can model the known risks, but only the human mind, fueled by paranoia and creative fear, can construct the truly unprecedented, improbable threat and plan a defense against it. Cultivating strategic imagination. Cross-disciplinary exposure. Deliberately consume content from outside your field. Read philosophy, study architecture, learn music theory. The synthesis of seemingly unrelated knowledge is the fuel for imaginative leaps. The destroy everything prompt. Periodically ask, if I wanted to completely destroy my own business model using AI, how would I do it? This forces you out of optimization mode and into disruption mode. First principles thinking. Breaking down a problem to its absolute, non-negotiable core components, ignoring all historical solutions.
The voiceover should be delivered with a calm, authoritative, and deeply analytical tone, similar to a high-level strategic consultant or a documentary narrator. Maintain a serious, educational pace, emphasizing key phrases with slight pauses for dramatic effect. The overall style should convey urgency and massive value to a sophisticated American professional audience. AI excels at managing process. It can schedule, coordinate, send reminders, and track progress with clinical efficiency. But it cannot manage people, particularly the complex, messy, and emotional dynamics required to lead a diverse, high-performing team. AI's structural limitation: lack of motivational depth. An AI can set a goal. It cannot inspire a sacrifice. It cannot mediate a personal feud that threatens a project deadline. It cannot build the psychological safety required for a team to take risks. Leadership is not about command and control. It's about managing the invisible energy of a group. The irreplaceable application: boundary spanning and conflict mediation. The most valuable leaders today are boundary spanners, those who can bridge the silos of an organization, e.g., engineering, marketing, finance, legal. The innovation gridlock: an engineer and a marketer are using two entirely different languages to describe the same product feature. The engineer focuses on technical integrity. The marketer focuses on customer benefit. An AI can translate the text, but the human leader must translate the intent, the values, and the priorities. They unify the team's mental model. Motivating a distributed team: leading a global, remote team through a crisis. This requires the leader to intuitively switch cultural context, adjust communication styles based on time zones, and maintain a sense of shared mission despite physical distance. This is a level of empathetic flexibility that is non-computational. Managing up and across: convincing a skeptical board of a visionary project while simultaneously motivating a junior team to execute it. This requires tailored communication, political acumen, and the ability to project unwavering confidence, a purely human performance. The voiceover should be delivered with a calm, authoritative, and deeply analytical tone, similar to a high-level strategic consultant or a documentary narrator. Maintain a serious, educational pace, emphasizing key phrases with slight pauses for dramatic effect. The overall style should convey urgency and massive value to a sophisticated American professional audience. This skill is the intellectual twin of strategic imagination. While imagination dreams up the new, cross-contextual synthesis finds profound connections within the vast landscape of existing disparate knowledge. AI structural limitation: specialized silos. Current AI models are increasingly specialized. One excels at code, another at image generation, a third at financial modeling. While general models exist, their ability to create truly revolutionary connections between wildly different fields remains weak compared to a trained human mind. The irreplaceable application: solving crisis and complexity. The most complex problems in the modern world rarely fit neatly into one discipline. They are systemic. The Medici effect: true innovation often happens at the intersection of fields. For instance, applying principles from Stoic philosophy to optimize a supply chain, focusing on what you can control versus what you can't. Or using a jazz improvisation framework to structure a rapid product development sprint. Decision-making in ambiguity: when a global crisis hits, for example, a financial crash, a pandemic, there is no relevant historical data. Leaders must synthesize lessons from military history, epidemiology, behavioral economics, and political science to create a path forward.
The AI will look to the last market crash. The human looks to the art of war. Scientific breakthroughs. Many major scientific breakthroughs were the result of a scientist applying a mathematical principle from physics to a problem in biology. For example, applying thermodynamics to understand cellular energy. This leap requires intellectual mobility and the audacity to assume universal applicability of a pattern. How to practice synthesis. Force yourself to draw an analogy between your biggest work problem and a concept from a completely foreign domain. For example, how would a world-class chef approach my quarterly budget review?
This is the ultimate non-negotiable human skill. As AI becomes more powerful, the value of the moral compass and the willingness to accept accountability for its direction becomes absolute. AI's structural limitation, value alignment, and conscience. An AI operates on an objective function. It seeks to maximize a variable, e.g., profit, click-through rate, safety score, as defined by its programmer. It is a tool. It has no personal belief system, no guilt, no conscience, and no concept of social consequence. It can optimize for any goal, including destructive ones, if instructed. The irreplaceable application, defining the moral kill switch. The human's job is to define the ethical boundaries, and more critically, to be the one willing to take the blame when those boundaries are tested. The ethical dilemma. Should we release a highly profitable product that has a subtle, long-term negative effect on mental health? The AI calculates the revenue. The human leader must decide the moral cost. Accountability. If an autonomous system causes a catastrophic failure, who goes to jail? Who resigns? The machine cannot be held accountable. Leadership, particularly in the age of AI, is the willingness to assume personal, moral, and legal liability for the performance of systems that you may not fully understand. This burden of consequence is exclusively human. Defining the future. Every time a human overrides an AI decision for ethical or moral reasons, we are defining the kind of society we want to live in. This definition is the ultimate act of human leadership.
The age of AI is not the end of work. It is the purification of work. It is stripping away the mechanistic, the repetitive, and the dull, leaving behind a demand for the quintessentially human. You have the roadmap. The 90% of repeatable tasks are gone. The 10% of value creation relies on empathy and emotional intelligence, building the human bridge. Strategic imagination, navigating the white space. Complex collaboration, managing the invisible dynamics of a team. Cross-contextual synthesis, connecting the unconnectable. Ethical decision-making and accountability, holding the moral compass. Your journey begins today with 3 steps. Step 1. Audit your time, the 90-10 split. For the next 2 weeks, track your work. Which tasks are 90% optimization, scheduling, drafting reports, data entry? Delegate them to AI immediately. Which tasks are 10% value creation, negotiation, brainstorming new concepts, mediating conflict? Focus 80% of your remaining energy here. Step 2. Start a synthesis journal. Every week, find 2 concepts from wildly different fields, for example, a cooking technique and a marketing funnel, and write a single paragraph connecting them. This trains the cross-contextual synthesis muscle. Step 3. Seek human friction. Stop avoiding difficult conversations. Volunteer for the project that requires multi-department coordination. Take the lead in the high-stakes negotiation. You must expose yourself to complexity and emotional friction to develop the irreplaceable skills. The tools are irrelevant without the human director. Master these 5 skills and you will not only survive the AI revolution, you will lead it. If this deep dive gave you clarity on your career path, hit the like button and subscribe for more strategic analysis. And tell us in the comments, which of the 5 skills do you think is the most important?